Let's take a quick trip back in time to the early days of the UFC. Back in the 1990s, fighters didn't even have to wear gloves. The octagon was a raw, no-holds-barred battlefield. But by UFC 14 in 1997, everything changed. Lightweight martial arts gloves became mandatory, not just to protect fighters' hands, but to improve the sport's image and reduce cuts on fighters' faces. Sounds like a win-win, right? Well, not exactly. Gloves were a major improvement, but they opened up a whole new conversation about safety. Research shows that gloves do help protect fighters' hands during high-impact strikes. A study on training equipment found that padded gloves reduce the risk of knuckle injuries during both sparring and heavy bag work. But gloves also come with a darker side, longer fights, and potentially more concussions. Why? Because gloves allow fighters to punch harder without damaging their hands as much. That means more repeated blows to the head, which increases the risk of long-term brain damage. It's a double-edged sword. Modern UFC gloves weigh about 4 to 6 ounces and are designed for optimal grappling and striking. However, researchers argue that these gloves could use more padding in key areas to reduce injuries. Studies on maxillofacial trauma, basically injuries to the face and jaw, show that while gloves reduce surface cuts, they don't do much to prevent fractures or brain trauma. Between 2016 and 2023, reports showed that hand and wrist injuries were among the most common in MMA. Fighters have also voiced concerns about the lack of innovation in glove design. So, what's the fix? Some experts suggest gloves with increased padding and a larger surface area could help distribute impact more evenly. But others argue that it's a balancing act. Too much padding could take away from the essence of MMA as a hybrid sport of striking and grappling. The UFC and equipment manufacturers are constantly testing new designs. Future gloves might feature smarter materials to absorb shock while maintaining flexibility for grappling. These improvements could strike the perfect balance between safety and performance. Ultimately, gloves are more than just gear. They're a symbol of how the sport has evolved. From bare-knuckle brawls to today's professional spectacle, every ounce of padding tells a story. So, what do you think? Are UFC gloves a blessing or a burden? Drop your thoughts in the comments below and let's start the conversation. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that bell icon for more breakdowns of the science and stories behind MMA. See you next time.